Unite beyond boundaries. Innovate together. Joe's PANKRATION 2024. No border.
Guru for the serverless application. Thanks very much for the invite. So many countries are presented here, and I represent the country Germany where I live, and also Ukraine where I was born. And I'm also working for the Japanese company Fujifilm since 18 years. So very proud to present for Japanese event. So yes, my name is Vadym, and I have this passion to AWS serverless architectures. That's why I'm presenting the DevOps Guru. And if we will look into this DevOps cycle with plan, code, build, test, deploy, operate, and monitor, then DevOps Guru is basically in the operate, monitor space and helps there with that cycle. So basically, let's start with some definition. For example, AI Ops. AI, what is the AI Ops? And this is the process of using machine learning techniques to solve operational problems. And the goal of AI Ops is to reduce human intervention in the IT processes. And yeah, it will help us to categorize and just not writing too much infrastructure as code for this type. And DevOps Guru is nothing else as a fully managed AI platform powered by machine learning, but you don't need to be an expert in machine learning. So I'm also neither an expert. So everything works kind of beyond the scene. So Amazon DevOps Guru offers a fully managed AI platform powered by machine learning, and you can find out things like increased latency, error rates, resource constraints. It's not only constrained to serverless architecture, but in general, it works. And what does it help us? Automatically detect operational incidents. It also helps us to reduce noise and alarm fatigue, just because we have false alarms and we then switch it off, and because it's very difficult just to find the threshold that is correctly. And it easily scales and maintains because it's basically one click thing. And you can do it, we will see it also for the whole of AWS organizations. So how AWS DevOps Guru work? It's basically machine learning upon all other known AWS services. So for example, you first select the coverage, CloudFormation stack, all stacks deployed in your in your region, and then all services that you are using, and you will be for sure using CloudWatch, and you will be for sure using CloudTray in case you using config. Everything will be aggregated by DevOps Guru, metrics will be created and all that stuff. And then the things will be analyzed to the normal behavior, baseline will be drawn, what is the normal behavior. And if there is a deviation, there will be an insight or alarm created. And you see on the left side, there are integrations just to the professional incident management tools that will be calling you upon all these insights created by DevOps Guru. So how DevOps Guru work beyond the scenes? There are domain-specific detectors that have been implemented by DevOps Guru that help us basically just to figure out all these completely different alarms. So specific detectors for error rates, availability, latency, and all that stuff, but nothing needs to be configured on our side. And of course, these detectors, they should also understand the periodic behaviors, because we have peaks like Black Friday, Christmas, and all this stuff, and it will be unfortunate if we simply have normal increase of traffic, but DevOps Guru will create incidents. So I prepared some very simple application that I have API gateway and then bunch of lambdas for creating products and retrieving products by ID stored in DynamoDB. And we will at least go through one incident to understand what DevOps Guru gives us. But generally, what's the purpose? Werner Vogel, CTO of Amazon, once said, all the code we will write is the business logic in the future, at least. We are quite far away from this, and now there are AI tools that challenge it from other perspectives. But basically, if we will look into our alarms, and this is the screenshot of our application at AWS, which my company wrote, you see we have 38 defined alarms. And this is quite a big work, and it's only one application, and it evolves with serverless architectures very quickly. So we need to adjust all those alarms. We have new lambdas, we have new API gateways, DynamoDB. It's quite a lot of work also to take care of all of this. But of course, delegating this to some other tool like DevOps Guru, it involves trust, because operations is the most important aspect in the end. And if you just delegate something that's not working, it's also not good. So first of all, how to set up DevOps Guru? You can select API. This is DevOps Guru products API that I deployed. You can also select all resources or tagged resources. You can also say apply DevOps Guru um, for all accounts that you have, or for all production accounts. It's up to you. And in the case, you will be presented with that kind of dashboard that you see impacted application, reactive insights, ongoing insights. I will show it very briefly. Of course, you can also see what resources have been analyzed based on what you selected. Like I have selected this, the whole stack, and then you see here analyzed resources 15 that you can check, okay, all my resources are being correctly analyzed. And in the end, if you have reactive insights, so this is some artificial screen, you will see something like this. Yeah, a lot of insights presented, and you then have the whole history of them. I will personally show you at least one insight with the DynamoDB table, which I artificially created by simply turning down table capacity for read and write capacity units to 1, from 5 to 1, and that's why it's very easily to throttle DynamoDB with some stress test. And in the end, DevOps Guru will present you something like this inside. DevOps Guru throttled request anonymous. You see high severity. And yeah, so that insight has been correctly recognized. And then you can go into aggregated metrics and see what metrics have been deviating. Yeah, you see here a lot of metrics. First of all, they are not grouped, and it's of course good to group them. And now you see lots of things happening, and this yellow squares, you see read throttle event sum, throttle event sum. Of course, I created load tests, so count number of requests have been deviated, but the real errors are read throttle events. And for DynamoDB table, you see the table name, product, and all that stuff. Of course, it's only lines. You can go to the more specific metrics and see exactly how many requests have been throttled in the time the incident persisted. And you can also see what could have caused this infrastructural change or deployment change. You see here this relevant timeline. If you can dig into that, you can go to the specific cloud trail event that caused it, and it was in my case, I reduced the capacity unit. You see only the target capacity unit, but if you would like to have the comparison, you need to activate AWS config. And that gives you from and to comparisons of your resources on the timeline, and then you see, okay, somebody changed infrastructure scope from 5 to 1. Yeah, and that's basically the error. So of course you will also have some things that you can read. Yeah, so how you can fix it, but experienced people, of course, can figure out it without these recommendations and all that stuff. So there are a lot of other types. I only showed you DynamoDB. There is API gateway, 500, 400 errors that were recognized, Lambda errors, throttling, timeouts, init errors, increased latency. Also, Lambda with other services like SQS, DynamoDB, Kinesis streams, all this asynchronous processing, the things will be recognized as, for example, the message remain in SQS queue in flight because Lambda experiences an error and can process it. Step function errors, even RDS and Aurora Serverless v2. So this is all I had experienced that it correctly recognized. So there is also something like proactive insights. This is the insights that will be giving you in case you misconfigured something or over-configured. For example, you over-provision DynamoDB, all that stuff. So these things, or you have wrong timeout values. For example, SQS and Lambda together, all that stuff can be recognized even if you have Lambda and VPC and not using all subnets of the availability zone. So this is very well working. And in the end, you have the integrations with the professional incident management system like Ops Center. This is AWS own one, and PagerDuty and Atlassian Opsgenie. These are third-party products. Of course, there is pricing involved. I will leave you to that. Yeah, the resources per account, per hour analyzed will be priced, but there is a price calculator for DevOps Guru, so you can look into this, and it will be exactly calculated what it will be costing you for the whole month for your scenario. So some wrap-ups. So my experience, 1.5 years of using it, most operational issues have been recognized correctly. It takes 7 minutes for incident to be created, but that's okay. Correctly, no insights for very temporary errors. but there are things that can be improved. For example, some recommendations can be more precise, but these are limitations of CloudWatch itself. It doesn't give you exactly HTTP code 501 or something like this. It's always 5xx or 4xx. And there are some things missing, like differentiation between Lambda throttling on individual Lambda or on the account limit. So there are smaller things that can be improved, but the service itself is very reliable. I have some suggestions that will wish list for this service, because some services are not supported in the serverless space, like Event Bridge or Event Bridge Pipes, also AppSync, and also if you use Aurora Serverless v2 over Data API. Yeah, this Data API is quite new, and this is something that the incidents there cannot be recognized currently. And I also wish better support for observability services like X-Ray, but also third parties. But generally, AWS has a huge experience for serverless services that they are wrote and they operate on a huge scale everywhere, like in all regions. And that's why I see this tool as kind of key one that help us just more focus on the business logic. So this is everything that I wanted to tell you. You can engage with me. I will share more experiences with that tool. And once again, thank you very much for the invite.